Welcome to Sleeper Mysteries. In the world of unsolved cases, there are mysteries and then there are enigmas. A mystery has questions that could one day be answered. An enigma is a person or a thing that is, by its very nature, a puzzle. It's a ghost in the system, a life lived in the margins. Today, we delve into one of the most profound enigmas of the 20th century. The story of a woman with no name, no past, and no history. A woman found in a remote Norwegian valley, her identity so thoroughly erased, it's as if she never existed at all. This is the haunting case of the Isdal Woman. Our story begins on November the 29th, 1970. A university professor and his two young daughters are hiking in the Isdal Valley, a beautiful but notoriously rugged area just outside the city of Bergen, Norway. Locals have a nickname for this place, Dødsdalen, the Death Valley. It's a name earned through a grim history of medieval suicides and modern hiking accidents. As the family ventured deeper into the valley, they were hit by a strange, acrid smell, like something burning. There, tucked away behind a small scree of rocks, they made a horrific discovery. It was the body of a woman lying on her back in what one investigator would later call a boxer's pose, a defensive posture common in burn victims. The scene was deeply, deeply strange. The front of her body was burned beyond recognition, but her back was completely untouched. Arranged around her, almost ritualistically, were a collection of peculiar items. A half-eaten packed lunch, 2 plastic water bottles, an empty bottle of St. Alvard liqueur, a silver spoon, a pair of rubber boots, a woolen jumper, and nylon stockings. There was no campfire, no sign of an accident. It was as if someone had staged a grim ceremony in the middle of nowhere. The Bergen police launched one of the most extensive investigations in Norwegian history. The autopsy revealed a cocktail of substances in her system. She had swallowed between 50 and 70 sleeping pills from a brand called Fenamel, but they hadn't fully digested. Critically, the coroner found soot in her lungs, proving she was alive as the fire burned. The official cause of death was ruled as a combination of carbon monoxide poisoning from the fire and barbiturate intoxication. Suicide was the official theory, but from day one it felt wrong. Why would someone go to such lengths? Why the elaborate scene? The first major break came just 2 days later. 2 suitcases were found in the luggage storage at the Bergen railway station. Inside, investigators found a treasure trove of clues that only deepened the mystery. There was an array of clothing, all with the identifying labels meticulously snipped away. They found 5 high-quality wigs of different colours, a tube of eczema cream with the prescription label peeled off, and multiple currencies: German, Norwegian, Belgian, British, and Swiss. Most tantalising of all was a notepad. On the first page was a series of numbers and letters. A code. Working tirelessly, investigators cracked it. It wasn't a spy's secret message, but a log of her travels. It listed dates and city names, showing a meticulous and constant movement across Europe. Paris, Hamburg, Basel, and more. This woman was a professional traveller. And she was a professional at hiding. Police used the notepad to trace her steps back through Norway. They discovered she had stayed at multiple hotels using at least 8 different aliases, complete with corresponding fake passports. Genevieve, Lancia, Claudia, Vera. The names were as varied as the wigs in her suitcase. Witnesses from the hotels and shops started to paint a picture of this phantom. She was elegant, stylish, and always paid in cash. She spoke German, Flemish, and French, along with broken, accented English. A shoe clerk in Stavanger remembered her vividly. He spent a long time helping her find the perfect pair of blue rubber boots. The same boots found at the scene. He described her as calm, well-dressed, but with a guarded, intense stare. She seemed to be constantly watching, constantly waiting. So, who was this woman? This is where the case explodes into a web of international intrigue. Remember the year, 1970. the absolute height of the Cold War. Norway, as a NATO member bordering the Soviet Union, was a hotbed of espionage. The leading theory, then and now, is that the Isdal Woman was a spy. Her methods, the wigs, the aliases, the codes, the complete erasure of her identity are all hallmarks of tradecraft. And her final destination, Bergen, was not random. At that exact time, the Norwegian military was conducting top-secret trials of the new Penguin anti-ship missile just offshore. Was she there to observe? Was she an agent who was compromised and eliminated by her own side, or by the enemy? Some have speculated she worked for Mossad, the KGB, or a Stasi-linked terror group. Other theories exist, of course. Perhaps she was involved in a high-level crime enterprise, a smuggler or courier who fell foul of her associates. Or maybe the story is more personal. Was she fleeing an abusive relationship or a dark past and chose to perform a final, complete act of self-erasure? But the violence and strangeness of her death make that seem unlikely. For almost 50 years the case went cold. The Isdal Woman was buried in a zinc coffin designed to preserve her remains, her identity a permanent question mark. But in 2016, the Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation, the NRK, launched a massive effort to finally solve the case, using technology the 1970s investigators could only dream of. Her jawbone, which had been saved, was subjected to advanced isotopic analysis. This ground-breaking science can determine where a person lived based on the chemical signatures in their teeth, which are formed in childhood. The results are astounding. They indicated she was likely born around 1930 in or near the German city of Nuremberg, but during her childhood, likely just before or after World War II, she had moved west to a region near the Franco-German border. This is also aligned with handwriting analysis that suggested she had a French language education. A full DNA profile was extracted, confirming she was of European heritage. The hope is that one day this profile will get a hit on a genealogical database connecting her to a living relative. New forensic sketches have been released showing the face of a woman in her early 40s with a steady, watchful gaze. The Isdal Woman is no longer just a set of bones in a zinc coffin. We know where she likely came from. We know what she looked like. We know the path she took across Europe in her final months. But the two most important questions remain unanswered. Who was she? And who, or what, killed her in that cold valley? Was she a spy whose cover was blown? A criminal silenced before she could talk? Or a lost soul who staged her own elaborate exit from the world? Her story is a stark reminder that even in our modern interconnected world, a person can still vanish, leaving behind nothing but a perfect, unsolvable mystery. What do you think happened to the Isdal Woman? Is there a clue we've all missed? Share your theories in the comments below. And if this mystery has captured your imagination, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives from Sleeper Mysteries. Stay curious.